guys, welcome back to the Crafty Capricorn. Today I wanted to share my setup with you in my Hobonichi Weeks, which is going to be my spiritual planner for 2024. And this is the first year I've ever used one of these, and it's also the first year that I've ever been so inspired to actually play in a dated journal. I really think this is new territory for me, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So on the inside, I just added a few of my more favorite stickers. My toddler got a hold of it and ripped my nameplate off, so I gotta go back in and stick it down a little bit better. And I just have this little bye bun sticker right here that I couldn't commit to sticking down because I just like it so much. And then I have my little dashboard page. You can see some ghosting from a mistake that I made on the other side. And I kind of was panicking because I just kept trying to fix it and it was getting worse. But I ended up gluing over it and I like it even better than I did before, so it's fine. I'm not too bothered by the ghosting because I love the decoration that I added on this page so much. And then I posted this one on my Instagram and a lot of people seem to like it, so thanks. Yeah, and I just stamped my word of the year here, which is the first time I've ever actually been able to choose one that seemed like it was going to make sense. This is my lunar calendar, which has the new and the full moon for the whole year, as well as the Sabbath dates for the year. And this is what I had tried to squeeze into the tiny 2024 calendar right here, and it just didn't work. I've seen people before actually use this calendar for things, but I think my writing is just a little bit too big to work, so it just ended up looking really cluttered and messy. But I love the way that this looks anyway, and I actually think it turned out better than it would have if I didn't glue over, so it's okay to do that sometimes. And then this is my tarot reading for 2024 as well. And I wanted a place to keep all of my cards of the month so that I wasn't having to either set up a really long spread that I just didn't want to finish all in one sitting. And then this also is a way to have it easily accessible for setting goals for each month. So I figured I'd take a look at the card's energy and then use that to inform what I want to achieve for that month. And then the year to glance, I think I'm going to just use for a bird's eye view of my daily tarot cards. I thought especially highlighting certain suits that might be coming up quite a lot, or stalker cards, things like that. This would be interesting data to have all at once. And then the monthly spread, I've done all of the astrology, all the transits, because that's something I'm focusing on in my study right now. And then I've got the Sabbath here blocked out, and then the full and the new moon, which Hobonichi already has set in there, and I thought that's definitely something I wanted to highlight because it's important to me in my own practice. And then I have my harvest cycle houses here, my tarot deck-ins, the card of the month, and then my goals, and a space for reflection on that goal, or on the goals that I set here. And this space, I'm kind of open to whatever may come or whatever may not, whether that be maybe some witchy shopping or specific tasks related to my spirituality in some way that are kind of like an overview type task or something a little bit bigger than what would be useful to put into my weekly pages. But if not, it doesn't bother me because this spread is pretty full as it is, but we'll see how that ends up working out. So I haven't done anything yet in my weeklies, but I do have some ideas on a sticky note here, just in case I'm finding myself a little bit stuck on how to use the memo side. But it seems like so far, for some reason, being actually in the Hobonichi, like now, it makes me want to write, and I'm perfectly okay with experimenting and maybe finding a new way that I haven't thought of yet for this side. And that's the thing I love about these planners, is there's so much freedom and flexibility built within the structure that it's a perfect balance for me. And then the notes pages, I have done some stuff in, and I figured I'll share the pages I've done and a couple of pages that I just kind of have penciled in, and hopefully that's interesting to you. But since I have the Weeks Mega, I have tons of empty pages back here to experiment with, and I'm calling it my Book of Shadows because it's information that I am trying to integrate as just knowledge, and stuff that I don't really have to think about too much, maybe someday in the future. And so it's good reference info for me, but all of this is also related to how I want to use like the actual weekly part. So for example, we are in Scorpio season and about to head into Sagittarius. So like that's helpful info for adding stuff potentially in my weekly part, because one of the things that I want to start doing is spotting how these energies may manifest in my everyday life. So if there's any particular Sagittarius energy that might come up during the transition as the sun enters that sign. I'm also studying the modalities and the planets more in depth now. So knowing that we're about to enter a Jupiter ruled sign, or, like I'm spotting these patterns, right? And having this as info that I can refer back to easily is going to make this part of my planning and like documenting much easier. So yeah, aside from the reference aspect, I am also going to be using it for more in-depth like research and things like that. So let me show you what I mean. These bookmarks are actually slightly annoying. So I've got some space set up for Yule for, like traditions and correspondences and things like that to help me decide how I'm gonna celebrate this year. So nothing too crazy in terms of reference info, but just enough to help get my brain going, because being more serious and dedicated in my Sabbath celebration is also something that I want to implement in terms of goals. And then I've got some moons here. Each full moon of the month has a specific name, and so I've set up just a tiny bit of space to write a sentence or two about how the moon ended up getting that name throughout pagan history, because it's just interesting to me. And then I have some space for, tuck these away, goodness gracious. I have some space here for the planets and which house they rule, which zodiac sign they rule, and then according to astrology, what that planet corresponds to in terms of energy. And I also have the tarot card associated with each planet. And I have it divided kind of funny and totally not in any sensical order, because I had this washi tape that has all of the different planets on it and a tiny like science fact about it. And I just thought it looked cool, and I wasn't sure when else I would want to use this washi tape. So I have set it up like that and divided it according to the tape, which is why Pluto here is so small. But yeah, I just think it's really cool information to have in terms of a reference, because connecting tarot and astrology is just such an interesting study to me, and something that I will never stop studying and exploring in my journaling. So then I have some space for the transits here. And this is just like the general transits that I'm going to put here. So what I mean by that is, like, when we look at my calendar here, you know, what does sextile actually mean? What does square mean? What does trine mean? So just like the general, so I have a deeper understanding when I go to explore what it means specifically when Mercury is sextile to Pisces and Saturn, that sort of thing. So those explorations actually make a tiny bit more conceptual sense. And then same with the houses. So like, I know I've talked about my harvest cycle houses a lot already, but having a deeper understanding of the houses gives you a better sense of your knowledge in terms of studying birth charts. And so my idea for this page here is more like, in general, according to astrology, what does house 1 through 12 represent? And then that information gives additional context to looking at it in terms of the harvest cycles. So, you know, for example, according to this book, the beginning stage of like choosing your seed or planting your seed, in terms of house context, starts in the 11th house, because the 11th house energy more clearly matches this idea of planting a seed. So that's why it starts in the 11th house instead of the first house. So yeah, the rest of the pages are basically just going to be continuing this type of progression through my study, as well as adding pages specifically to the timed astrology, any additional tarot readings, let's see, and Sabbats, ritual, things like that. Information that kind of would not necessarily fit in my weekly memo page, because this can be used for anything. And maybe I'll end up doing some more like research. Like right now, I am on a kick for researching the Morrigan, and so maybe when November 27th, I think that's when this starts, yeah, maybe I'll end up putting some Morrigan research here if nothing else comes up, just because like this is what I'm studying right now, and I think it would be really interesting to look back on and see what I've been up to in a linear way. But that's also why I'm going to end up putting back here on my little Book of Shadows like mini index, I'm gonna or table of contents I should say, I'm gonna put like page whatever 1 through 30 is December 2023, and then page 31 through blah 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 January 2024, that sort of thing. So I can see, okay, roughly that was, you know, what I was up to for that month, while having some more freeform journaling options. So yeah, that is my somewhat long-winded setup for you. I hope that was interesting, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.